Good morning and welcome to the NBA Daily presented by Amazon Prime for March 3rd, 2026. I'm Dave DuFour here with Es Baraheni. Coming up, the Nuggets got a scare. We're going to talk about Jokic a little bit. Darius Garland's back. We're going to talk about his debut for the Clippers. And Jay King is here to talk about the Celtics, Jalen Brown, and Tatum's comeback. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Es? How you doing, buddy?
Living a dream, man. Yeah. Look, a weird night in basketball. Undoubtedly.
Not a good one.
No.
I will say.
No.
And it's funny because we had some returns. We had Giannis Antetokounmpo come back for some reason. I don't think he would have come back if he would have known that they were going to lose by
30.
27 points to the Celtics with no Jalen Brown. I mean, Nehemiah's Queta wasn't out there. There's just no excuse for the Bucks. But we talked about that game a little bit after the break with Jay King. Anyway, okay, we got to talk about the Nuggets, man. Look, they had a couple of, we'll say rough losses, but to good teams, okay? They lose to OKC on Friday. They lose to the Wolves on Sunday. Then they have to go hop on a plane and go to Utah. Now, it's not a far flight. I feel like the trip from downtown Denver to the Denver airport is probably longer than the flight from Denver to Salt Lake City. Okay. So it's not a lot of travel, but there is still some travel. Yeah. And they almost blew a game to the Utah Jazz, who are actively trying to lose. They wind up winning thanks to the refs a little bit, 128-125. The refs gave them the game at the end here. I thought it was an unbelievable reversal on that foul call on Jokic.
Well, unbelievable is a really kind word, I would say.
Egregious, for sure.
Egregious. It felt like they were gift wrapping the game to them at that point. Because
there was a delay of game penalty down there.
There was a delay of game. There was a lot of moments where it felt like Denver could have completely lost this game. And yet, like you mentioned, a lot of Jokic antics in this one. There was the viral clip going around of him boxing out and kind of jumping over the guy, boxing out.
Wait. You mean Keontae George wearing Jokic as a backpack isn't a foul on Keontae George? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, insane, man. Insane. It feels like it's this egregious, and obviously it's coming off the heels of a very, very physical OKC games, versus Nuggets game, and OKC and obviously Minnesota. It just feels like all eyes are on Jokic and his ability to maybe flop throughout games. And this was like the worst version we've seen. If you have a chance, folks, and you want to just watch like flopping as an art form, I would go and watch this Denver Nuggets Utah Jazz game because Jokic takes it to another level. Shout out to Keontae George, though. The Jazz are going to be fun next year, Dave. They're going to be fun.
The sad thing is that the Jazz are actually already good. They've kind of been good all year. Yeah, they got better at the trade deadline, and we don't know it. They're a mystery box right now, as far as I'm concerned. They could come out next year and roll a dud. I don't know. I have nothing to base it on, Es. Yeah, because they refuse to play their best players. Everybody's getting surgery. It's that time of year. Okay, let's move on to a guy who came back. Darius Garland comes back for the Clippers. The Clippers mount a comeback. I dare say the Warriors probably need to get Steph Curry back out there at some point if they expect to win any of these games, although it does feel like they're pretty safely in the play-in no matter what. Yeah. The Clippers win 114-101. Darius Garland came off the bench in the game, puts up 12 points. He started out a little bit rough, and I think one of the things you can point to for Darius Garland, he had 5 turnovers, and really I thought he had a couple that he got bailed out on. He looked rusty as far as timing and his handle.
Yeah, looked like a guy that hadn't played basketball in a while. And also looked like a guy that was being thrown into a new team, right? And figure out what players have specific tendencies, especially as a ball handler, a guy who's such a good playmaker. You could tell some of the passes were off just by timing of knowing when a guy is shaking to the corner or making the 45 cut and whatever. Like, it's just timing for Garland right now. I just like the fact that he played 22 minutes, truthfully. Like, the fact that he played and there were no complications with his toes or anything like that, that's a good sign for the Clippers moving forward.
Yeah. And hopefully we don't hear something, after the game where he's going to miss more time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what he dealt with all year with Cleveland.
I just want to mention, Yanic, Konan.
Oh, there was no way we weren't talking about Yanic, Konan the Barbarian, because
he was incredible.
I'll tell you, Zena would be mad at us if we didn't spend a couple minutes on him. Look, puts up 11 points, 9 rebounds, 4 blocks. His activity up around the basket. I mean, look, you can see where losing Zoo for the haul that they got makes so much sense for them, where you have this guy waiting in the wings who looks like, I mean, he's not going to be Zubac necessarily next season.
But he has some Zubac qualities
to him. Yeah,
I totally agree. I mean, look, he's very traditional, like rim runner, get to the basket, pick and roll guy. Offensively, we'll see how much he can develop on that end. But defensively, he's a very intriguing big man. He can switch out onto guards, hold his own. He's very good at the pick and roll. And I mean, you know this, but it's really hard to be a big man and a rookie in the NBA and be good on defense. Right. He already has that. And I feel like over the last month or so, every time I've watched the Clippers, he's had moments where incredibly timed block shot, great offensive rebound, leaks out in transition. He's a really talented athlete too. So I'm impressed because he's, the Clippers have nailed a draft pick. Shout out to Andrew Schlecht, who always dings them on it.
Said they never nail it. Okay, it's early. He has been working with Zubac and Brook Lopez, all season. So I imagine, he's picking up some stuff from them. We'll see. The other thing that he has, right? He can't teach this. 7 feet tall. That's feet true. Tall. You're right. Great athlete.
Especially against the Warriors.
Absolutely. Yeah, it matters because Brook Lopez and Yanic, Konan, Niederhauser made the Warriors look just like Lilliputian. Yeah, very small. So anyway, guys, we got Jay King after the break. Stick around for that, and he's going to tell us if Jayson Tatum's coming back or not. Feels like he is. Well, Giannis came back last night for the Bucks, so we thought we'd get Jay King on to talk about it because, the Celtics have been so good this season. The Bucks stand to look better with Giannis, and the Celtics had other ideas. Jay King luckily didn't make the trip for that game. What's up, Jay?
Thank God. Thank God I watched that from my couch. There are no direct flights from Boston to Milwaukee. At least there weren't today. And so I would have had to fly through like Detroit or something to just go see that despicable basketball game. The Bucks should be ashamed. That was the Celtics on the second night of a back-to-back without Jalen Brown, without Neemias Queta, and the Bucks just never had a chance. They let Hugo Gonzalez look like Wilt Chamberlain. They let the Celtics 16 rebounds run all over them.
Yeah.
The Bucks are, and Giannis was back. Like,
right.
That should have been an energizing force on top of having maybe the best player in basketball back on your side. Nope, they stink.
They were minus 16 in his 25 minutes.
That's what I was going to say. Destroyed. It felt like in the moments where the Bucks were making a quote unquote run, it was when Giannis was off the floor. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that says much about Giannis particularly because he's coming back from that 5-week hiatus, but the Celtics just completely dominated this game. And they have this identity that just leans into everything that they want to do on a night-to-night basis. You take away Jalen Brown from this team, it's Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, and to your point, Hugo Gonzalez jumping in for 16 rebounds. I mean, you followed this team for a while now. Is this the most fun you've had watching a Celtics team?
I mean, I've covered
outside of maybe the championship year.
I've covered some very good teams. Yeah. Some teams that went on unexpected runs. The 17-18 team after Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward got hurt went to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Isaiah Thomas teams were just kind of like they weren't supposed to get to where they got to. They were number 1 seed, got to Eastern Conference Finals. He was just dynamite every fourth quarter. That said, this is like for fans, this is a totally enjoyable experience. It's a bunch of guys playing above what anybody thought they would play at. Jalen Brown has reached another level. All these young guys can really play. Yeah. Like, it's not just Ugo, who was great tonight. He's barely 20 guarding Giannis while going for 18 and 16. It's Baylor Shireman, who's started and done a really good job and all of a sudden is like a defensive stopper. Jordan Walsh has had moments. Ron Harper Jr. is on a 2-way contract. They plug him in the starting lineup. He's had moments. It's just the mentality of the whole team, it seems, is just totally bought in, a little crazy, like crashing the offensive glass, borderline reckless in some ways, but also super polished in other ways in that such a young team shouldn't be. Like they hardly ever turn the ball over. The matchup against Milwaukee, I think it's a great one because Milwaukee doesn't do a lot of the things that win basketball games. They turn the ball over. They don't rebound the ball. They can really shoot, but other than that, like they don't do a lot of the things that win basketball games. Whereas the Celtics have been great on the margins in a lot of ways. They're one of the top 5 offensive rebounding teams in basketball. They take care of the ball as well as anybody. They have become one of the better defensive rebounding teams in basketball against all odds because they were terrible at that at the beginning of the season. So, yeah, Joe Mazzulla has done a great job just sort of formulating an identity for this team. Everyone's bought in, and I think there's a lot more talent than people expected. I thought this would be a really thin team. Instead, it's really deep with options everywhere.
You think the difference between what we're seeing with the Celtics and what we see with the Bucks is all coaching?
No, not at all. I think the Bucks have a lot of guys on their team that are about themselves, that don't really know the game. They added Cam Thomas for whatever reason. Like,
hey, somebody's got to score some points, man.
Yeah, but somebody has to pass the ball. Giannis had already called his team selfish, and they were like, let's go get this 20-point-a-game scorer who was so bad at the other stuff that his other team waived him, even though they're desperate for talent. Let's go grab him. He'll fit really well with everybody. I just think the Celtics, like, they have a bunch of guys who are willing to play a role, who excel in those roles, who do all the little things, who set screens, who crash the glass, who get deflections, who pick up steals. All their young guys take on the most challenging defensive assignments. They have, like, Luka Garza comes in off the bench tonight. He hadn't played in a while because they acquired Vucevic, and he crashes the glass like no other, plays super hard. They just have guys who are committed and bought in, and that matters. And I also think, like, a lot of these guys, because they had never gotten opportunities, their talent wasn't understood. But like, Hugo Gonzalez he's a talented kid.
He can really play.
He can really.
I've got a little group chat, and they call him Spanish Dennis Rodman.
Spanish Dennis Rodman. I don't know about that one, but the dude plays so hard, and he just has a feel for everything. And for his age, he's just very physically advanced, like super strong. They have him guard Giannis. They've had him guard Karl Towns in the past. So yeah, I don't think it's just coaching at all. I think coaching is part of it. I think Joe Mazzulla has had a great vision for this team, and sort of they're in his mentality, his mindset. But I think the types of players they have, the competitors that they have, like, you need that. And I don't think Milwaukee did a good job targeting guys who are willing to fit into a team concept and want to win at all costs.
It's a really great point, because if you think about Milwaukee, like, over the past 5 or 6 seasons with Giannis, when they have had a draft pick, it's been in and around the same spot where the Celtics have had a draft pick, right? And you look now, and of course, Jordan Walsh has been a surprising story for this team. Baylor Shireman has been a great story for this team. Hugo Gonzalez, like you said, like carving out a role for himself. So it's not only coaching, it's not just identity, it's also the front office maximizing and figuring out, like, what this roster specifically for this season needed. The other aspect to this is the return, or the potential return, of Jayson Tatum, because I think that's what's on the minds of basically every Celtics fan at this point. There was an expectation that Tatum might come back this previous weekend. That didn't happen. Do you have a feel as to, like, when he'll come back, and when he does, or if he does, what kind of role he ends up playing on the Celtics team?
Look, he's come out with a documentary with they're calling them mini-sodes. There are, I was.
Can you say that word again for me, Jay?
Mini-sodes.
Thank you.
It sounds like people from Minnesota. Oh, those damn Minnesotes. But there are, like, I was just driving today, and there are billboards saying back to zero with Jayson Tatum's face on them.
Okay.
If he's not coming back, then all this stuff would seem pretty strange.
It's quite a pump fake. Yeah. All right. So we're looking for Friday night. The Mavericks, they're at the Garden. I mean, it's on ESPN.
Yep.
Feels like it's going to be Friday. Come on.
He has said that it will be at home if he does come back this season. And if you look at the schedule, Wednesday against Charlotte is at home. Friday against Dallas is at home. Then they have 3 super tough road games in Cleveland, OKC, and San Antonio. So if he does come back, he'll set himself up to have quite a test right away.
Yeah.
If he doesn't come back before that trip, the next home game is March 14th against the Wizards. So
okay. So what have you heard about Tatum in these scrimmages? Because, we've heard very generic stuff. I'm sure you've heard a lot more. What can you share?
They've been pretty tight-lipped about it. Players have said he's looked good. But yeah, it's been pretty tight-lipped, especially Joe Mazzulla has been like we asked Joe, literally this was like 5 or 10 minutes before practice started, if Jayson was practicing one day. And he said, I'm not sure. We haven't created a practice plan yet. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, that sounds realistic. You have no idea whether your first team All-NBA player was going to practice today. He was asked again the next night, literally just stared at the person who asked the question, did not say a word.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love that. That was great.
So Joe has been pretty tight-lipped about it. That said, like, the things they will talk about, he's been super diligent at approaching the rehab. It's been a real challenge mentally for him, and he's talked about that, how he's even had concerns about how he's going to fit back into the team. I'm sure that's just all part of it, especially for a guy like Tatum, who's never had a significant injury in his life. Now he has what could be the toughest in basketball. And so he's just kind of having to grapple with that. And I'm sure he's starting to face the reality that maybe I won't be 100% back to myself when I get back on that court. And I think, to expect to be 100%, even if you take another 6 months, another year, like, that's unrealistic. I know we've seen it before, sort of, with Kevin Durant. He came back and was unbelievable the year that he came back. But for the most part, like, you come back, you're going to have to deal with rust. You're not going to feel totally like yourself right away. And that's okay. And that's just something that he's going to have to deal with, that they're going to have to deal with, I would assume. If not, he's Superman. And they'll benefit from that. But you have to expect, like, there will be some sort of feeling out process for him to just get closer to himself and see what he's capable of physically, and see where he fits into this Celtics team that's found an identity without him.
Yeah, I think it's a big test also for the rest of the team, because they have to reincorporate this guy. And I think it's a very interesting moment for Joe Mazzulla, who had a lot of questions about, most people had a lot of questions about him postseason last year. He comes into this year, obviously has an incredible season. Do you think Mazzulla is the coach of the year right now?
I would put him up there with anyone for sure, because for a number of reasons, but like, they lost a ton. It wasn't just Jayson Tatum. It was Al Horford, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Cornett. They lost more than half of their rotation. They had 0 big men with legitimate NBA experience. Demias Queta was their 4th string center last year. Luka Garza barely played at all in Minnesota. That was their starting front court. Their first 2 centers at the beginning of this season. Then, you have these young wings. You don't know if any of them can play.
Right.
Turns out
half
they
of
all
them can't shoot.
Turns out they all can. Yeah,
right?
They're not. None of them are great shooters. They brought in Anthony Simons, and it was pretty clear right from the start that they were going to consider trading him. So that was a delicate issue. And he did a great job of buying in and being a part of the program and all that. But you have to deal with that. You have to coach him and deal with his defensive limitations. And then you have to decide who do I play? And I just think, and you have to do all that while also battling against the reality that the returners are probably like, what the hell? Like we were
right.
We won a championship 2 years ago. Now we barely recognize half the guys on this team. We're going to be playing with 19 and 20-year-olds who have never played real NBA minutes. And so he's had to balance a lot of factors. He's had to mold a lot of young guys who had never played before in the NBA. He's had to teach them to get up to the Celtics level. And then he's found new ways to win too. Like he decided this team has to be great at offensive rebounding. They're 5th in offensive rebound rate. Their wings crash the glass like no other wings do. And he's set the tone for that from the start. Like he's yanked guys in and out of the lineup when they make mistakes. He's kept guys on edge like that all year long. I think they have that mentality that they have to go to the glass or else they'll come out. And so he's just sort of set the tone for that. But he's done that without losing their ability to take care of the ball, which has always been a huge strength for them.
Yeah.
You lose all that and you're still, I think they're 2nd in turnover rate. It's crazy what they've done and how successful they've been. They have the best offense in the league after losing all that we just discussed without Jayson Tatum playing a minute.
Man, and they, over the last month, have the best defense in the league, which I think is a huge step for this team and their chances in the postseason this year.
I mean, I feel like in the preview, we talked about Neemias Queta as, is he going to be their starting center? Well, that's not going to be great. Yeah. And look at the development year he's had. I mean, it's pretty incredible story. I do want to swing it to Charlotte for a minute because Charles Lee was in Boston for a while. And I mean, coached under Mazzulla. I know that you and LaMelo Ball, you have an interesting sort of relationship, right? How do you feel about what Charles Lee has done down there? And how much of Mazzulla do you see in that?
So the part of Mazzulla I see in them is they're great around the margins. Like they do things right. They operate right. They put up a ton of threes. They're about the possession game. And I just think they needed just somebody to come in there and be diligent and bring an enthusiasm and bring life to that organization. When he got there, it was just kind of blah. And I actually think Borrego did a pretty good job for a while, but it was there was limited success. The guys that were there and the most talented guys needed better habits. And so you have to every day be on them about habits without dragging things down while still keeping the enthusiasm high. And adding Kon Knueppel just was such a big impact move. That dude has been ridiculous this year. What rookie comes in and is that efficient, is that polished, is that ready to
he can shoot every ball day one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
He can do the backwards step, he can sidestep, he can come off a flare. I mean, it's really impressive.
What's impressive to me is he just makes the right reads throughout it. If he sets a screen and he should slip it, he slips it. If he sets a screen and his guy leaves him, he's ready for that. He's, no matter what the defense does, he seems to read it correctly, which is so rare for a kid his age. They're great to watch. Diabaté, don't forget about him. The dude awesome. Is just an absolute animal on the glass. He moves his feet like crazy. Even dating back to Michigan, I was there's sort of the outline of a decent player there, but he had such a long way to go. And now he's found a way and he's huge for them. And so I don't think his contribution should get overlooked either. I talked about the possession game earlier. His work on the offensive glass is a huge reason why they're able to be one of those teams that does win the possession game regularly.
And one other guy you don't want to say anything about how awesome LaMelo Ball's been? No?
LaMelo, yeah, I as you noted, there have been some group chat texts in the past about LaMelo's unseriousness. And I don't know if he.
We're not going to talk about his driving.
I don't know,
except for on the basketball court.
I don't know if he's the most serious guy yet, but man, he can really play. And I think just having more talent around him, he's the type of guy. He does get the ball moving. He finds open guys. There's just a life to them and a synergy to that team. All their best players just fit really well together. And for a group of young guys, I just feel like that's so rare to where you find 5 young guys like their starting lineup that just meshes together so well, has absolutely dusted all the competition when they've been on the court together. And it's a really good thing in Charlotte right now.
They're so really young.
This is still young, man.
The amazing thing. All right, before we get out of here, I'm going to ask you about the playoffs. I mean, look, we're going to just throw the Jayson Tatum questions out the window for this. What is the most likely outcome for the Celtics once we hit the playoffs?
Anything is possible.
Do you think this could be a finals team? I mean, it is the East.
Yeah, it is the East, like you said. Like, could they beat Detroit? I wouldn't favor them against Detroit. They could beat Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit sometimes can't score. Yeah,
could they beat New York? Like, I wouldn't favor them against New York because of what New York did last season, but also. Yeah, New York has flaws, and sometimes they seem to hate each other. So this Celtics team knows what it is. They get contributions from everybody. Like you said, they've had the top-ranked defense for a while now, basically ever since trading Anthony Simons. And I don't want to put it on Simons because he competed. He tried to fit in. But now those minutes are going to the energy wings who are 6'7" and take on the top defensive assignments and rack up steals and take charges and crash the glass. And changing from a pretty slender point guard who wasn't like physically strong enough to handle certain things to Ugo Gonzalez, Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh, the guys who are getting those minutes now. Like that's a huge change. And obviously whenever Tatum comes back, it's going to be great for the Celtics in so many ways. Like that dude amplifies everything you do. He can fit into however you want to play.
Just having his presence on the floor.
He can post up, he can screen, he can run on the ball, he can guard bigs, he can guard point guards. He can do whatever you need him to do. The one drawback to him coming back, I think, and it's not really a drawback because he'll be playing Jayson Tatum. Yeah. But it will hurt the Celtics to have to take away minutes from some of those younger guys because they're really taking advantage of their opportunities right now. They're proving that they're capable. And once Tatum comes back, there's just not going to be enough minutes on the wing for everybody. And I want to see how Joe Mazzulla approaches that. And I don't think it will be the same guy every night, but out of Shireman, Gonzalez, Walsh, even Harper Jr., like who's going to get those opportunities and who's going to stay on the court?
Yeah, even, again, just having Tatum out there is somebody you have to think about. It still says Tatum on the back of the jersey. Yep. Shout out to Zena, who brought that up yesterday. Jay, thanks for hanging out, man. I'll let you finish that text. Thanks to Jay King. Guys, go and read him at The Athletic. Thanks to Es Baraheni for hanging out. I'm Dave DuFour. This has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for hanging out with us.